Welcome to True Crime News. Let's get right to our top story. A shocking mystery in the Coachella Valley of Southern California. A house is engulfed in flames, but when the smoke clears, police will need to sift through the ashes to solve a triple murder. I went to Pinion Pines to investigate. A long drive up a desert mountain road.
It is really pretty here. And is Pinion Pines that way?
Straight ahead, 17 miles.
A seemingly tranquil stretch of highway leading back through time to one very dark place. This is where the tracks ended?
Yeah, in fact, you can still see the police tape from the crime scene. First time I've seen this. Wow.
This was the location of a slaughter.
Whatever she saw scared the hell out of her.
She was targeted, she was posed, she was set on fire.
My sister's like old baby dolls laying on the ground, and you think about all the time that you had. With the people that you loved that were no longer there anymore.
Before the ashes, before the flames, Becky Friedli, her mom Vicki Friedli, and mom's boyfriend Jon Hayward were living high above California's Coachella Valley in a secluded neighborhood called Pinion Pines.
My mom was a free spirit. She was a hippie at heart. She really had such a kind heart.
And at 53 years old, that kind hippie heart seemed full.
My sister seemed devoted to Jon. He was a very good father, and it seemed like everything was peaceful.
Then there was the youngest of Vicki's 4 daughters, Becky Friedli, and if there was one thing about Becky,
The first thing that pops out of everyone's mouth is how funny she was.
She was a live wire. She embraced life with both arms outstretched.
Super fun, bubbly. She was every room she relished in being the loudest, funniest person there, always.
And in many ways, after Becky's mom divorced her biological father, Ron, she seemed to be the glue that held the scattered family together. But it wasn't always easy to stay connected living in Pinion Pines, miles above the city where the average number of bars on any cell phone was 0.
We used to joke about when we were younger that, you could literally stand in her front door and yell and the neighbors can't hear you.
Now, not such a joke. If there were any screams that night, no one heard them.
And my mom called me, and she told me there's been a fire at your sister's house. So I remember thinking, maybe Vicki left the oven on, or thinking maybe they're not home.
But it was no accident, and everyone was home. Inside the smoldering ruins of the house, investigators find the charred remains of 2 bodies. Vicki Friedli, shot in the head with a .40 caliber handgun. Beside her, Vicki's boyfriend, Jon, dead from a shotgun blast to the chest.
It was very violent. It was just shocking.
And it gets worse. Outside, found burning in an old wheelbarrow, was the lifeless body of 18-year-old Becky Friedli, too badly burned to even determine her exact cause of death.
I was devastated. I think I just cried uncontrollably. I couldn't think straight. I just wanted answers. I wanted to know what happened.
Shortly after the triple homicide, sheriff's deputies questioned one of their own, a former deputy, retired just the year before, Vicki's ex-husband, Jon Friedli.
My mom married Ron when I was 6. Once she married Ron, he got a job as a deputy sheriff.
Ron actually built that house in Pinion Pines with his own hands, and with another man living there with his ex-wife, some couldn't help but wonder. But as investigators dug a little deeper, it became disturbingly clear there was really only one intended target.
Well, I think Becky was the focus of this homicide. It was very likely that Jon and Vicki were collateral damage.
Private investigator Luis Bolaños, who used to work on the force with Ron and who knew the Friedlis well, had been following the case since day one.
Why do you say that Becky was the intended target of this crime?
They put Becky in a wheelbarrow in front of the house and in a place at the end of the driveway. We call that posing. And the purpose of posing that is to send a message, makes it really personal to first responders, to the family, that that was our target. We weren't here for Jon and Vicki, but Becky was our target.
And for those who knew Becky best, there were more reasons to believe this crime was all too personal.
When she was young, maybe 3, 4 years old, she ran into her sister in the kitchen who was carrying a pan of oil, like burning oil, and it spilled over her chest. So Becky had burn scars all the way down her chest.
Daniela and many others say the incident left Becky with a well-known lifelong fear of being burned.
So then what do you make of the fact that she was set on fire?
That was a direct hit for Becky.
It was an attack on her.
Yes.